If you can fix what our robot couldn't, you walk away with $250,000. You've got 60 minutes. The CEO's voice cuts through the boardroom in Chicago. Laughter ripples across the glass-walled room. The clock starts. 60 minutes. On screen, the numbers glow red. 60 hell out. The mechanic wipes his greasy hands on a stained apron. His jaw tightens. His eyes lock on the machine. Executives in $1,000 suits chuckle in the background. Some shake their heads. Others whisper bets under their breath. This wasn't just a bet. This wasn't just an engine. What nobody in that room knew. This was about every working-class American fighting to stay alive in the age of machines. But to understand that moment in the boardroom, we have to rewind. That challenge didn't come out of nowhere. It was years in the making. Headlines told the story. Auto shops closing as AI diagnostics expand. Writers. Manufacturers lock repair data from independent mechanics. CNBC. Layoffs sweep skilled trades as automation pilots expand. AP News. Across America, garages went dark. Mechanics sent home. Signs flipped from open to closed. Whole neighborhoods felt the loss. And in Detroit, Motor City itself, Marcus Johnson was living it. 2 kids depending on him. A wife pulling double shifts at a diner on Gratiot Avenue. A son's asthma medicine draining every paycheck. A daughter dreaming of nursing school at Wayne State. Every refill. Another fight with insurance. Every tuition brochure. Another reminder of how far that dream seemed. At work, we saw the shift. Less trust in men like Marcus, more faith in robots that spit out codes. Machines trained to take the job fathers once called a legacy. Friends muttered in frustration. Dealer only. We can't touch it. They locked us out. Another voice. Shops are closing. We're next. Marcus carried it all. The bills, the late nights, the weight of failure waiting at the door. So when executives laughed at him in that glass tower, it cut deeper than they realized. Because this wasn't a game. It wasn't about pride. It wasn't just an engine. This was about his son breathing through the night. This was about his daughter's future. This was about a wife who deserved rest, not endless double shifts. For Marcus Johnson, this was survival. And soon, the whole country would be watching. Marcus stared at the rig, cold steel, flashing codes, every number screaming, "You don't belong here." He shook his head. "This is stacked against me. Your AI has all the locked data. I've got nothing." The CEO's smirk widened. Her voice sliced through the room. "Then walk. But remember, if you do, you'll be walking away from every paycheck your kids will ever need." The table erupted. Laughter rolled across the suits. One whispered, "Independent mechanics can't survive. Reuters said so." Another leaned in, "Manufacturers don't share data. CNBC covered it. He's locked out." A third shook his head. "Layoffs are spreading. AP News was right. He's finished." The sound cut deep. Every laugh another reminder. This wasn't just their game. It was America's new reality. Marcus clenched the wrench in his hand. He wanted to walk. Why stay in a room rigged to see him fail? But then, something. A detail. On the waveform. A sensor reading wrong. Not impossible. Not unfixable. Just wrong. His brow furrowed. This isn't what they think it is. Silence cracked. For the first time, a pause in the mockery. But it didn't last. Executives sneered. "Wishful thinking. Robots don't make mistakes. Humans do. Go back to your garage, Johnson." Marcus leaned closer to the screen, his voice steadier now. "You trust the machine, but the machine doesn't understand context. It spits out 12 codes when there's only one real fault." The CEO chuckled. "You think you're smarter than a system built by the best in Silicon Valley?" Marcus straightened. For the first time, no trace of doubt. "Fine, I'll play your game." He turned, his eyes locking with hers. "But when I win, don't act surprised." The laughter thinned. A cough broke the noise. The room shifted. Confidence cracked. And right then, the boardroom went silent. Because for the first time, Marcus Johnson looked dangerous. Executives leaned back in their $2,000 suits. Laughter rippled down the line. If the AI flagged it unfixable, what chance does he have? One voice louder than the rest. "Grease monkey against Silicon Valley? That's no contest." Another chimed in. "Didn't Reuters run a piece? Independent shops closing. He's proof right here." Laughter followed. "CNBC said it. Manufacturers lock the data. He can't touch this without their code." A third cut in. AP News showed the layoffs. This trade is finished. He's fighting a ghost. The chorus of doubt grew louder. They weren't debating. They were stacking insults. One leaned forward smirking. Bet he doesn't even know the latest software. My Tesla updates itself in the driveway. Another snapped back. Exactly. We're in 2025. He's still holding a wrench. The mechanic stood silent, but the noise circled him. Every word meant to bury him deeper. In the corner, employees shifted. A janitor whispered, "This ain't right." Another shook his head. "They're laughing, but if he loses, we lose too." An assistant muttered, just loud enough, "AI doesn't pay our rent, he does." The secretary beside her nodded. They don't see that. But the executives pressed harder. Silicon Valley spent billions on this tech. You think one man in Detroit can beat that? Manufacturers hold all the cards. Dealers control the data. CNBC spelled it out. This is what happens when you cling to the past. One voice, sharp and cruel. Blue collar's a dead collar. Time to accept it. Silence cut through the workers in the back. Mechanics crossed arms watching. Janitors froze with their brooms. Assistants held their breath. This wasn't just about Marcus. It was about them. Every one of them had been told the same story. You're replaceable. That's what hurt most. Not the suits. Not the laughter. The reminder of every factory worker in Ohio laid off. Every farmhand in Iowa locked out of their own tractor. Every phone repair shop in New York closed because parts were withheld. And still the executives kept talking. Robots don't make mistakes. He's wasting time. Why humiliate himself like this? But in the back row, one man wasn't laughing. He saw past the suits, past the smirks. He knew the fight Marcus was really in, and he wasn't about to look away. The boardroom held its breath. The screen spat out 12 error codes, each one flashing red, each one a reminder, AI says unfixable. Marcus leaned closer, his voice low, steady. 12 codes? That doesn't add up. He reached for the oscilloscope, wires clipped, screen alive, the waveform scrolled across, clean, balanced. He nodded. AI flagged 12, but look, the waveform's clean, the robot doesn't understand context. An executive scoffed. Context? Reuters said these systems outperform humans. You can't argue with the data. Another leaned in, smirking. CNBC reported this. Manufacturers lock the information. Independent shops are obsolete. A third chimed in. AP News was clear. Layoffs in skilled trades. Men like him don't last. Marcus ignored them. He pulled the multimeter, pressed the probes into the harness. Numbers flickered, voltage solid. He whispered, "No short here. The system sees noise, not the truth." A janitor in the corner murmured, "He's catching what the machine missed." An assistant whispered back, "That's 20 years of work right there." The diagnostic tool beeped again. The same 12 codes scrolled. Marcus shook his head. "Machine sees symptoms, not cause. That's the flaw." A mechanic in the back muttered, "That's right to repair in action. They lock us out, and we find another way." His colleague replied, "Like John Deere. Farmers in Iowa can't even fix their own tractors without paying the dealer." Executives laughed harder. Exactly. Farmers tried. Court sided with Deere. New York's repair law, watered down before it passed. California is still debating. Machines win. Humans lose. Marcus tightened his grip on the probe. His voice firm now. "You think a locked gate means impossible. I see a path. I see what your machine can't." He pointed to the waveform again. AI spat out 12. But here, signal's clean. That means only one code is real. 11 are noise. The back row stirred. A secretary whispered, "He's dismantling the robot, line by line." A cleaner added, "And he's doing it under pressure." The executives shifted uncomfortably. One tried to laugh it off. "Even if he sees one code, he can't fix it without our tools." Marcus answered without looking up. "You don't need a key when the door was built wrong in the first place." The room stilled. Wire after wire, test after test, Marcus moved with precision. The more he worked, the sharper his tone became. Every measurement another rebuttal, every explanation another blow to the myth of the machine. And the deeper he went, the more dangerous the game became. The clock hammered down. 6. Red digits burned into the room, every second louder than the last. Then, the spark. Metal hissed, smoke rolled across the table. The machine choked. Silence froze the air. Then came the laughter. See, even the machine knew better. Another voice piled on louder. AP said it. Skilled trades can't handle pressure. This proves it. The CEO crossed her arms. Her grin sharp. Game over. Marcus stood frozen. His chest rose heavy. Sweat slid down his face. And in that sweat, faces. His son, coughing through the night. His daughter, smiling with college brochures in her hand. The suit circled him with words. Farmers in Iowa tried the same fight. They couldn't touch their own tractors. Courts ruled against them. New York repair shops begged for parts. They closed their doors instead. California's been dragging their feet for years. Machines win, humans lose. Their laughter hit harder than the smoke. Johnson, robots don't panic, people do. You're a mechanic, not an engineer. Walk away before you sink further. The workers in the back row whispered low. A mechanic muttered, that's the same thing they told us back home. A janitor whispered, they'll keep laughing until every shop is gone. A secretary added, he's standing for all of us, and they don't even see it. The smoke thickened. The clock bled down, second by second. Marcus bowed his head, hands shaking. He thought of the bills stacked on the kitchen counter. He thought of his wife walking home after double shifts. He thought of being told over and over, you're replaceable. He was this close to breaking, this close to walking. Not because of pride, because the weight was crushing. Because one man against a machine never feels fair. But then, his memory opened wide. Voices from outside that boardroom. Farmers saying, we bought these tractors, but we can't repair them without the dealer's permission. We don't own what we paid for. Repair shop owners saying, we can't order parts. We can't get schematics. Customers walk out the door and we shut down. Lawmakers in hearings saying, consumers deserve the right to fix what they own. This is common sense. Every voice carried the same truth. Every battle echoed the same cry. And Marcus knew. He wasn't standing alone. He was standing with all of them. He lifted his head. The smoke swirled around him. The laughter cracked, softer now. The engine sat in silence. The suits waited for him to collapse. But he didn't. Because in that moment, Marcus remembered what every mechanic in America has been screaming for years. We just want the right to fix what we own. The clock screamed at the wall. 5 minutes, 59 seconds. Digits burning, every heartbeat louder than the last. Marcus didn't fold. He whispered, almost to himself, there's another path, legal, secure. They don't know it, but it's here. The CEO snapped, arms tight across her chest. Don't waste our time. Reuters already reported this. Systems are locked. No outsider can touch it. One executive leaned in, smirking. CNBC ran the numbers. Data flows through dealer-only portals. He's locked out before he even begins. Another chuckled. AP made it clear. Layoffs hit trades for a reason. They're obsolete. Johnson, this is just theater. Marcus didn't answer. He tapped the console. Lines of code flickered. A login prompt. An access wall. He breathed deep. Manufacturer approved, secure reflash. Voices overlapped like gunfire. That's not possible. He's stalling. He'll fry the system. But in the back row, workers leaned forward. A mechanic whispered, that's the path they don't talk about. I've heard of it. Clean, compliant, but hidden behind walls. A janitor replied, if he can pull that off, he's rewriting the story. The secretary gripped her notepad. He's not guessing, he knows. Marcus keyed the sequence. One line, then another. Steady, clean. The screen flickered. Executives shifted in their chairs. What's he doing? Did he just override our system? That's not legal. Marcus looked up, calm. It's legal. Approved. You just never thought anyone would fight for access. The room tensed. Error codes began to fall away. 12 became 10, 10 became 5, 5 became 1. Then, silence on the screen. One exec slammed the table. This isn't happening. Farmers in Iowa begged for this kind of access and got denied. Another fired back. New York's repair law was gutted by lobbyists. He shouldn't even be able to attempt this. The CEO cut through. Stop watching him. It's smoke. It's a trick. Marcus ignored them all. His hands moved with certainty. Probes steady, commands tight, every move sharpened by decades in the trade. The screen pulsed once. Then, error vanished. The room froze. No laughter now, no mocking, just shock. The engine coughed once, twice. A pause, then, roared alive. Sound tore through the silence, steel and fire declaring victory. Workers gasped. One whispered, "He did it." Another whispered back, "AI said impossible, but he just proved it wrong." The janitor muttered, "That's the difference. Robots can't improvise. He can." Executives sat hollow-eyed. The CEO's smirk collapsed into stone. She clenched her jaw but said nothing. Marcus stepped back from the table, his voice steady, his words like a hammer. "Robots can't improvise. Humans can." No reply. Not a word, just silence. The kind of silence that swallows a room whole. But if you think that was the ending, you're dead wrong. Because what came next flipped the entire company upside down. The engine thundered, the sound swallowed the room, every smile gone, every doubt silenced. The CEO froze, her face pale. She had bet everything on the machine and lost. One executive whispered, "This isn't possible." Another muttered, "Reuters said humans were finished. How do we explain this?" A third hissed, "CNBC called it, dealer data only, yet he just proved us wrong." The CEO's hands shook as she reached for the folder. She slid the check across the table, her voice thin, breaking. "From today, we bring back skilled human-led teams. No more locked-out repairs." The back row erupted. A mechanic whispered, "That's what we've been waiting to hear." A janitor wiped his hands, smiling. "Finally." An assistant whispered, "This is more than Marcus. This is all of us." Executives fumbled for words. One muttered, "AP reported layoffs would sweep this industry. Maybe they don't have to." Another sighed, "We underestimated what experience can do." Marcus stood silent. He didn't need to speak. The roar of the engine spoke for him. This isn't just Marcus's story, it's America's. From Detroit to Des Moines, from New York repair shops to Iowa farms, support trade apprenticeships, fight for open repair. Because without it, the next generation of workers doesn't stand a chance. And if you believe in real work, in real people, in a future where humans matter more than machines, don't just scroll, share this, comment your story, subscribe, so this fight doesn't die in silence.